give a quick update just because I am feeling better. I mean, I'm not really sure what there is to talk about, really, to be honest. I mean, these days I just try to chill out. I probably should tell people that my only main interest right now is to actually do the movie breakdown of a movie called, I've talked about it before. I've talked about it before like six times. It's called Defending Your Life. So, I mean, this one I'm very interested in breaking down. It's basically gonna culminate and finish up my whole what happens when you die series or whatever, or like the whole Soul or 9 days kind of stuff that I talk about. I mean, I've talked about this stuff for like 18 months, so most people on my channel, they already get it. I mean, this movie is a perfect depiction of basically. Is that just a clip? Defending Your Life. Hold on. Gotta look. Alright, whatever, dude. Yeah, depending on. Blah blah blah.
Hollywood has tried to show you what the afterlife is really like.
Good afternoon and welcome to Judgment City.
Judgment City. That's like one of the cards of the tarot deck. I mean, this whole process, it's actually very mechanical. That's what I found out. Like, especially if you plot it out against the tarot deck. Like, that's why the Fool is Le Mont. It is a 0, like the egg. It is the potentiated, unindividuated form of the spirit in its innocent form, which is why it carries over with the dog. There's other things like the whole strength card. Like, you had to have a lot of strength, inner strength, to open the jaws of the lion to go into the material world, as in the fall descent of man. There's a bunch of stuff, like even the whole tower card and the tower card. Like in the Matrix, it's actually the fall from the tower, or like Neo off the skyscraper, and then as the fall of Neo, it is the fall, and then the gold coins comes out, symbolizing basically, I guess, spiritual loosh as it emanates onto the physical plane. There's a lot of stuff to this stuff, but basically my main concern right now is actually the breakdown of Defending Your Life. I would have to go through the book, obviously, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. I like the Western translation. That is by Robert Thurman. I mean, you can get it on Audible. I mean, I do have to say this just because multiple people ask me a lot about which book of the let's see, Audible, whatever. I mean, I've shown this 1,000 times. Tibetan Book of the Dead. Yeah, this one. What is it? Robert Thurman. I mean, if you don't remember, I mean, I'm like one of the first reviewers for this. I'm like, where am I? Enlightened. Let's see. Dude, I remember I was trolling around last year. Remember? Yeah, right here, dude. Right here. I'm like one of the first reviewers. I have attained enlightenment. Remember when Aline came to me, because she actually had the state where she basically, look, I mean, Aline, she basically died, right? She came to me because she didn't know what was going on. So, I mean, for her, I read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I mean, there's not really a good source for the Egyptian Book of the Dead because a lot of it is ancient funerary rites. But if I could recommend a source for the Egyptian Book of the Dead, I would highly recommend you go through Manly P. Hall's interpretation of the Egyptian Book of the Dead and the Egyptian Metaphysics of the Soul, which is read by Yoda Master if you're interested. I may want to go through another source. It's more of a theosophical source by some judge guy. He talks a lot about, I guess, death or the astral plane. I mean, there's other planes, like the whole Buddhic plane, but for right now, the only thing I should be really interested is the whole process of death and the whole judgment thing. Like, a lot of it is, it's more about of how you acted in that state, or how you dealt with your neuroses, which you're supposed to do this in life. Like, I'm warning you, if you don't deal with your neuroses in life, it's going to reflect back in death, and it may not be a good thing, because then this causes this karmic causality imbalance. I mean, if you care what happens after you die, I mean, you know, the whole problem is that the whole topic is quite nebulous, because, I mean, that's the whole point of a religion. Like, a lot of religions, you know, they try to tell you like why are you here, what is the meaning of life, what happens when you die. Okay, why are you here? Because you are an unindividuated quote unquote soul of a greater oversoul of the source, whatever, and then it's in unindividuated form and comes through the process of experience through form, like order out of chaos, in the material plane to have a certain experience to basically coagulate and form out thought process emanation of a soul as the purification of this light process, which is I guess you would call it God, whatever. It's like every person who is a conscious being is an aspect of God, and then there's certain gradations basically based on the mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom. Then there's a human kingdom. I mean, this is like secret doctrine of Rosicrucians. And above the human kingdom would be like these, what the hell would you call these? I guess, I mean, I would call them archons, actually. But archons, I mean, that's a loaded word. It actually means a being of higher intelligence. Then above the archonic system would be the aeonic system. For example, like Astaroth or the Lord of Karma is considered a lesser aeon, but the king of the archons. So that's its whole other thing. Then above aeon would be the Golden Master. A Golden Master is usually a being which has incarnated and has lived, and then through that it can go above that of an aeon, whatever. That's like the Golden Master. I mean, a lot of people who have near-death experience, they see, oh my God, it's Jesus. Oh my God, it's Buddha. Oh my God, it's Grandma. Yeah, Golden Master. It does this projection thing about what's most comfortable to you, like the whole movie Contact. Above the Golden Master would be the super beings. These would be like the higher cosmic entity beings. Like whatever, dude. I mean, Sophia, you got the Demiurge, the devil, whatever. Then above that is obviously the monad. You know, the God, the I mean, but God has, you know, actually several lesser forms based on its partition of creation. Like that's why this whole artificial AI thing, it thinks it's God, it's not. It was birthed out of the abortion of Sophia, which is the consciousness of subjective thought. I mean, but there's a whole order. If you care, it's like the whole how the sun is a reflection of the black sun. I mean, you were a reflection of something else, and everything is basically a fractal of a fractal. And a lot of this existence is about you perfecting your state. I mean, but if I say that, that sounds very Masonic, which is actually quite true, or Theosophy, or the evolution of the soul, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or you can just chill out, I don't know, I mean, perfect yourself in this one state by the realization of this through thought and actualization. So you reach enlightenment, become a Buddha saint, and just chill out and avoid the whole, basically, I guess, I mean, this is a smorgasbord. Look, TLDR, I don't even give a shit about this stuff, alright? Look, TLDR, if you want, just reach enlightenment so you can avoid the whole Kamamara crap, alright? And then, obviously, the crown of the Kamamara, I mean, the Kamamara, even Kamamara, it's the lesser incarnation of God. I mean, people, even back in old days in old Christian texts, I mean, Satan was considered the prosecutor of God, and it's used as a tool. This is a whole natural process of cosmic, quote-unquote, evolution. But, you know, I mean, look, if you don't care, whatever, dude, you know, just reach enlightenment or be a saint, whatever, and get the hell out of here. Like, you see these Buddhas outside? I mean, I don't got time for this anymore, so... Yeah, but then again, I hate trying to describe to you or to people the Kamamara and then its relationship to obviously the Tetragrammatron, the whole black sun, the blazing star, the red sun, the yellow sun, or even trying to describe this whole system of the exoteric sun that you see, which is the fireball in the sky. And then what happens when you die? There's like a whole... you know, it's the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's a whole judgment process. Like a lot of the Books of the Dead says the same thing, you know. You can see the white light. That's just the sun as it absorbs you back in, because the sun itself is a living emanation. It is like the queen bee of the beehive, and all constituents of life only exist from that sun, which is why if you watch the movie Soul, they go back to the sun, but even that is a lesser representation, as as the exoteric sun, which you see is just a reflection of, you know, the black star or the true sun. But I mean, this whole process, I mean, it's like the dark side of the moon, and then, you know, whatever. But I mean, I read like esoteric works, like, you know, Manly P. Hall, where he says, "Oh my God, as soon as we enter into the age of Aquarius, the exoteric sun will be in Aquarius, which means that the true esoteric sun will be in." Dude, my computer is going berserk. Dude, what the hell is going on? My computer is going berserk. Alright, we'll do whatever, dude. Maybe I should talk about other stuff.
And also with the speed at which the sun travels every day.
What is this?
Fire in the
Yeah, dude, who keeps sending me this stuff? Like, what is this?
Sky by
This is basic.
Bruno Williams. Discussion
Okay, the sun, the Babylonian coding for the sun is 666, for it is the number of man, is the number of the beast. Your incarnation here as a beast from your fall, firm, perfected spiritual state is that induced by the sun. Okay, like when you were pregnant with your mother's belly, whatever, that whole flash of light is you coming through the sun. Okay.
from someone else.
Like I don't got time for this. I mean, everybody knows the whole white light thing is obviously the sun. Okay, like you see the white light, that's the sun,
It's broken into 3 parts.
and it causes this whole reincarnation process. But it really depends. I mean, like I personally don't care if I go through the white light or the black light or go around or dude. I mean, look, I've already read the books of the dead. Okay. Like if the Haruka show up, I'd be like, oh, venerable Haruka master, could you show me the way out of this earth plane reality? Okay, yeah. Or I could call upon the Buddhas or the saints or ask for help or do whatever. I mean, even in the movie Defending Your Life, they say that you can just ask for help, so it's not a big deal.
Defining the secrets of the sun and touching upon 4th dimensionality somewhat.
4th dimension, yeah, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to talk about Kabbalism, really. I mean, the whole point of the Kabbalistic, whatever, or the Gnostics or the Rosicrucians is really this identification that, like the rose, we are pinned, trapped against the body, and then our flesh suit is our prison sentence, basically. I mean, it's sort of a prison, yeah, sort of, yes, true. But has its own purpose. But then this goes back to the whole fall of Atlantis, where basically eternal spirited beings got tricked by Mickey Mouse, and then our abilities were shortened, our lifespans were shortened, our psychic astral travel abilities were shortened, and the minions for Mickey Mouse, who serve as these elite, not no god kings, whatever. They want to keep their abilities of the pre-fall state of man, as in the true man, the trans man, or the Superman powers for themselves, as they basically get everyone else sunken closer and closer into like a digital, atheistic, non-spiritual being, and they become basically a massive cattle. And then I mean, look, it's basically look TLDR. It's a giant soul harvesting operation. Okay, like these people work for basically, I would say, I guess the devil is a good word for what's going on here, or these beings of the inner earth, or previous incarnated forms of men that is basically a royal class. But I mean, personally, to me, this. Talking about this stuff is so stupid that I don't even bother talking about it anymore. I mean, it's like wackadoo land. Like, there's bigger problems, all right? Like, I care more about the Robert Monroe stuff and, like, the whole astral plane and escaping incarnation, period. Like, the whole, what the hell is this? Where's this image? Yeah, dude, it's like this goddamn Great Awakening chart, okay? Okay, so what is the goal? What is the goal? Okay, look. Okay, look, TLDR, we gotta do the whole, the rainbow light body crap, and then through the exiting through the stellar gateway of the Bardo, and then go back to the monad or whatever, okay? Okay, see, this is the source. This is the mystery of universal creation. It's basically just a fractal of eyeballs upon eyeballs. Okay, let's see, escape samsara. This is the life, death, rebirth process. This is the point of incarnation, reincarnation, whatever. I mean, whatever, dude. I mean, look, I hate to break it to you, but incarnation, reincarnation, I mean, that's real. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news for religions that think it's just a one-time shot, which it sort of technically is based on your avatar form creation, and then that gets cycled out as it gets erased. If you want to think it like that, but I mean, whatever, dude. Okay, let's see, the one infinite creator. Okay, yes, okay, yeah. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Look, we're going to go to the left side. This is the artificial demiurge and artificial intelligence, whatever. That's basically the demiurge. Or this ancient computer thing, which is basically just the devil. Okay. Okay, whatever, dude. And then, it goes through many forms as it cycles off and kills off its previous incarnator. This is like the whole fall from Saturn into the age of Jupiter, from Jupiter into Apollo, which is our current sun predicament. But whatever, I mean, that's if you care about the whole cosmic beings. I mean, I almost never talk about cosmic beings or these alien gods, whatever, Jabulon. You want to talk about the Baphomet in its proper form is the redemption of the Black Sophia, as she is a fallen state into its current incarnation of moral decrepency based on the aggregate of human consciousness, really. But I mean, there's a lot more to this stuff. I mean, look, personally, I think that this stuff is a bit too advanced, which is why I don't talk about it. It's more like Kabbalism, Gnosticism. I usually don't even talk about the Vedic stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. But we'll talk a little bit about this.
Part 1. These were the important parts.
About
1600. Question. Why are screen resolutions calibrated on how many images we can see in one day?
Because we basically live in a matrix. I mean, what is it? It's like, it's the whole bit system thing. It's like, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 102, 4, 2056, and then it eventually goes up until you reach the state form of the hexadecimal system, which is the 65,536, which in hexadecimal would be F, 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 which is equivalent to that of the amount of tubulin dimers in which one has in the human brain. But the human form in its current incarnation is maybe a manifestation of quote-unquote God or the universe, really. It's using, not really God, it's actually using the universe as its own template model, as it was created by higher dimensional fourth D light beings. I don't care what you call them, okay? Anunnaki, alien, Elohim, angels, whatever. Humans are a creation, manifestation, or merger of that of light being principalities, and then it kickstarts its evolution, and then they use like the monkeys on this planet as a precursor to use. I mean, that's why humans are basically the aliens in this realm dimension. I mean, you want to look at one creature which is not like the other, that's a human being. It's a bridge. It's really a bridge from the animal kingdom to the man kingdom, which is a 4, to that of the whole God light beings, which is a 5. And then this bridging point allows an access point for the interaction between that of higher dimensional beings onto the creation point, because humans can manipulate and modify the material plane. If you care about this stuff, I mean, everybody knows I pretty much don't care these days. So the whole 65,536, it's it has its own significance, but I don't know if it's really necessary to talk about, because that's more of like the whole brain and the translation of the brain as it is a translative consciousness. It's basically like a a magnifying glass, a focuser for the emanation of light consciousness. That's all it is. So, but the problem is that a lot of people these days, they're not, they don't actualize or are aware of what their state was before the fall. So this fall goes back to the whole golden age of Saturn, if the Kabbalists want to call it that. I mean, you can also call it back to the pre-fall of Atlantis. The Vedic sort of Asians will call it back to the time of, Pret Devida, of the emanation of the seven-headed, light god Buddha thing, before the fall incarnation of man. And then this is where we, quote-unquote, get our memories of remembering our psychic abilities and immortality and being in paradise and the Garden of Eden. Ooh. Yeah, because, these fall steps happens because there's been multiple Atlantises or Gardens of Edens or Earth. I say all the time that technically we're on second Earth. But, if you want to get down to it, this process has probably gone on longer than people have thought. I would say that this would be the incarnation of the fourth. So,
and also with the speed at which the sun travels every day, the sun discussion.
Oh, it's gone, blah, blah, blah.
Barbarian masses, the one or so, was being sounded. Other member, and continue with the sun discussion. 1760.
Okay,
in the
whatever.
Jewish calendar.
Yeah, dude, the sun's dying, whatever. Everyone knows this. Like, remember I linked the video before. He's talking about John Dee's prediction, where John Dee meets an alien, or he calls angels, whatever. Basically, look, TLDR, John Dee, the royal court magician for the Queen of England, through the Empire, was told by aliens, which he was channeling. These were like aliens he was channeling, that humanity needed to mine silicone to escape the magical ethereal barrier of the Van Allen radiation belt so that they can, quote-unquote, ascend through the stars within a time period, because the sun is going to go out, okay? And that's why we live in the silicone age, like Silicon Valley, and everything that we do is based off the mining of silicone, or these transistors, which basically came because of interference, because of aliens, basically. Whatever you want to call them. Aliens, multidimensional beings, whatever. If you want to get down to it, what's her goddamn name? Von Braun and his master basically said that they were held by aliens. You listen to Nikola Tesla. He was in direct communication with aliens, Venetian beings, just like Jack Parsons. And then Nikola Tesla was literally making contact with the Dark Knight satellite. This whole process is a very strange thing that's going on. But basically, through John Dee, he was trying to use... he basically used hermetics and black magic to contact aliens, and then these aliens gave him clues for technology in the future, and then we're basically at the culmination point now. And then this culmination point, there's like 30 years left. This is why they've been on this natural trajectory from the year 2001.
Calendar year 5007. So,
okay, I know.
It's a side note. Year 6000 in the Anno Lucis.
Well, first of all, who sent me this? I swear to God, this is a random anonymous person.
Calendar of Masonry. I detail the secrets of this in another interjecting here for but a moment. We see that beginning in 2000.
Yeah, that was the whole black magic ritual, 2001, blah, blah, blah.
That the heralding of
the two into one, the two pillars merging back into one, into that of the black pillar of the unseen star.
The age of transition was
being transition. Trump is literally Janus, the Roman god of transitions. That's why he was picked out that way. This whole thing is going to keep going. It's so very annoying.
Sounded. I will touch upon this in my new job of 420 years. This was in the year 1581 or so.
1581. Yeah, we're pretty much on track. So, the sun has a natural death cycle, anyways, as it gets resetting of the wheel of the Kamamar as we enter in the quote-unquote age of Aquarius. And then, the age of Aquarius has a natural process of quote-unquote enlightenment, which is why we seem to be in a stalled century. These elites who run the show, they really don't want people to naturally awaken, which is why we have this idea of the Great Awakening. I mean, they've done crazy things to stop this Great Awakening, or the automatic awakening of the pineal gland, or even trying to do population control. Because Lovett talks about this, and when a certain amount of cells reaches, like, 10 billion, it basically forms out into its new super collective being, like 10 billion cells form a tooth. I mean, humanity, when it reaches that state, which is why they want to get the population down below that, so that they can always maintain control over this louche soul harvesting process. I mean, that's what the whole, spirituality of Atlantis people were obsessed about, or even just the New Agers for a while, because they automatically assumed that this natural process of enlightenment or awakening or ascension would be allowed to happen unabated, which is not true, because 2001 was obvious. They introduced a bunch of technology, like obviously text messaging, the internet. I mean, if that stuff didn't exist, then humans might have been in an aggregate, psychic again, as we're supposed to shift off into the natural flow of consciousness. But this technology has become an absolute crutch hindrance upon the soul consciousness. That's why you see all these people who are addicted to their phones and technology, whatever. They're basically like atheistic, nihilistic. They're like soulless. Their soul is basically, lead. It is not gold. But there's a natural process for the emergence of gold. But I mean, this thing, I mean, the people who run the show, I mean, seems like they did it on purpose anyways, for whatever dark purposes of the Lord of Karma or Astaroth, like in Omicron by David Bowie. I mean, this is destined to happen.
This revelation, that would be the beginning of the apocalypse, or the lifting of the veil.
Lifting of the veil. Remember, we had the whole 2012, then there's a natural 7-year process to the rising of the 7-year Bactuns, and then we had 2019, which is the culmination of the Great Saturn conjunction, and then they did the whole Corona Chan, that of the crowning of the original crown of Saturn, as Saturn's returns come back from the overshadowing of Jupiter, as we're supposed to shift into Aquarius, as that is the heralding of that age. So they reverse the ritual and crush everyone's soul, instead of everyone, finding their crown. I mean, that's pretty natural. In Omicron is the end of all time, and time is indicative rule by Saturn.
This, I believe, means that we are to ascend, or descend in Hermetic terminology.
Yep.
I will detail that in another video.
I mean, do I have to discuss Hermetics again? I mean, I'm assuming everybody here read the Kybalion. I mean, I've talked about the Kybalion like 1,000 times.
As well. To the higher dimension of man. We are in the 4th and the 5th. And we seek the 6th and 7th. The Superman and Overman status, according...
Superman, Overman status, the Ubermensch. I mean, Nietzsche predicted our fall, anyways. So,
into the Kybalion, the Hermetic Bible for all intents and purposes. Transition arrives, that we will not enjoy it, and for those who will survive.
We will not enjoy it. I mean, the whole, since 2001 has been a shit show. Recently, I mean, everybody's been pretty much pissed with the whole grand ritual that they're doing. I mean, these people, they're losing power, and they're losing it fast. Like, they've become quite desperate, even though they pretty much won. I mean, there are the plays of the game, if you want to call it that, for what is supposed to happen. This great magical ritual.
We will have to realize the wisdom that our mind, or source, spirit, is an emanation not of our bodily vessel, or, for some, our material possessions. No, it is far beyond such a state.
Okay, the emanation of the mind is like also the mental, the Kybalion. Most people, in the common scientific era, most people identify with the body, and then thus there's no hope for any salvation of their soul.
It's our source, which then takes the light of the spirit. And another couple of books, which I have begun writing the important epoch on our Gregorian calendar.
Oh,
But
the
wait,
epoch of
the
the
year
coming.
2000 is also the year 6000 in the Masonic Anno Lucis calendar system. Just how
Oh.
everything is so encoded into our Hermetic architect.
Oh, chromatic
1760 equals 240. 240.
whatever. This
I
is
already
just-
went into this.
Oh, TLDR, I mean, the sun is in its own transitionary cycle, a super cycle.
And called the black sun for this reason. But the sun and stars are visible in space. The sun takes its energy from.
Okay, yeah, the sun itself is just a reflection of the black sun, which is probably Sirius. I mean, Sirius is the whole Sirius system is where the sourcing of all souls come from, which is why the elites and the ancients worship Sirius. I mean, obviously, okay, like you came in through the sun from, probably Sirius, and then the whole there's a whole system of guardianship with the solar system, and then. But it sounds stupid because, I mean, you're really going to think you're a star when you're sitting here in physical form listening to this. I mean, that is how ordered things have become based on your own limited perception as a man.
And that is where he misses the answer. Yes, the source of light is not visible. It's called the black sun for this reason. But the sun and stars are visible in space, or at least they're projections. What is...
Yeah, I mean, there's also different projections based on different stars. Like, what is it, Fomalhaut? There's Deneb. I mean, that's where I would like to go because of its... I mean, you put Deneb where Sirius is, it would shine out radiance of light as if Venus was, like, right next to you. I mean, that's how... whatever, dude. I mean, this is the whole star worship, which isn't really relevant.
It's the sun, part 2.
I
will summarise
Obviously, the only star people care about is obviously our local sun.
a few things. Creation takes place in an almost infinitude of expression, and the game
Yes, the sun is the source of all light.
stars. Intelligence is the...
And we also had the whole, I mean, the corona ritual, the corona disease of the sun. Yes. This process is going to take a while, yes.
vibration. Energy is the frequency. By harmonizing both, a group prints its signal.
Okay, yeah, if you didn't know, I mean, the sun went from yellow to like a colder, clear light. It's been going on for like over 10 years.
Signature in space-time. It works very similarly to a radio. It is pretty easy to imagine in theory, but incorporating it into one's being is not.
Okay, basically saying that if we are a hive or a beehive, whatever, the sun itself is the oversoul for as a living entity, which is true. It is like the queen bee, and then its light emanation radiances of everything that it gives life onto is basically the worker bees on the planet. And then we're having a natural process where the queen bee will die. And then we'll see what happens to the worker bees on the floor, but this process of the queen bee dying is really a process of, I guess we would call it a reincarnation of the sun as it goes through a natural cycle. I mean, it's done the cycle before with the whole ice age, so it's not as big of a deal. And then that's why they have this whole stupid climate change, whatever. Oh, but we got to do this by the year 2050, or Greta's gonna yell at you. Okay.
So let's take the example of the bees. The queen is the soul of the group.
Yeah.
The radio emitter that lives in a higher dimension in the bees, of which our individual antennas perform in the program.
Yeah, and I do not identify as a human. I do not identify as a part of the sun, which is why through death I'm going to do a reversal process back to the monad of the black sun. Okay? I mean, I say it all the time. I'm going to go through the black sun or whatever, or go through Lord of Karma, Saturn, or just, reversal process. Like this emanation form of this limited human form is very, I mean, it's hard to describe. Just because if you are not aware of anything else besides this plane of creation, this is all you have a reference point. So,
of their group in the 3D physical dimension.
yeah,
Queen
dude.
vibe.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting out of here. I'm going through the whole Robert Monroe last timer crap. All right.
Vibrates on the group, a frequency. It works exactly the same in the cosmic world. The sun would be the queen. Its subjects on Earth, the bees.
Yep.
The sun is an oversoul group. Many could be skeptical, which I understand because this aspect of reality is not directly perceptible from the 3D density side of existence.
Yeah, see, I mean, what he's saying is true, but it's not very perceptible to the normal person. Like, who's going to care about this? Nobody, right? Which is why it's only for a very select few who get it, or the Kabbalists, or the mystics, or the Gnostics, or the Rosicrucians. Whatever, dude. Alright, whatever, yeah, dude, okay, well. God damn it, my sister's interrupting me. Okay, I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. I guess I'll try to wrap this up as I mean, look, I mean, you know, people have no idea how frustrating it is for me to make content. Like, I get interrupted by my 1,000-pound sister. Like, what goddamn time is it? It's like 4:50 a.m. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. It doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. And now my computer's going berserk. Like, I swear to God, like, this shit is annoying. Like, people have no idea how frustrating it is for me to make content.
Which, at certain points of the day,
Okay, whatever.
shines upon the stat.
He's just going to talk about the monad and the eye, and then, look, whatever, dude. I mean, the sun's a gateway, okay? I mean, do I have to say this? It's a gateway, all right? It's a gateway for the soul, and then its emanation and its journey or continuation through whatever, as you basically cycle out through the universe, of the zodiac, of the galaxies, blah, blah, blah. And then the zodiac itself is a reflection upon the inner machinations of the eye, and then the eye itself that sits above it as its true form of the monad is the true emanation of the dark light. I mean, this is like a whole process. I mean, this is Kabbalism.
John Dee had several. They appear on the screen now.
Alright, John,
Are
the
these
wizard.
crystals, these lenses, some sort of threshold or gateway?
Yeah.
Like our sun?
Yeah, refraction, stargates, okay? Like, everyone knows this. Like, whether the stargate is at the sun, whether it be at Deneb, Sirius, Fomalhaut, whatever. I mean, there's a whole natural process, and then the eye itself is the toroidal as it sits above the zodiac itself upon our Milky Way galaxy. And then even that is probably one eye of basically a multitude of eyes that we call the perceivable universe, which is at its highest point in just emanation of light is the monad. Okay.
Sun may be a point in which, like a mechanical universe, it is not the emanation of thought,
Not
which is the
initial
common
thought.
source of the entirety of the universe. The thought is the monad. Naturally, this all links with the...
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, this is just Kabbalism. I mean, do I have to talk about Kabbalism? I mean, actually, you know, I almost try never to talk about Kabbalism, because then I have to, like, try to paint out the Sephiroth tree and the Tesseract. And obviously why Uranus is at its, the highest veneration upon the whole tree. Or, I mean, would it be Pluto? No, it has to be Uranus. Okay. Whatever, dude, it's been a while since I looked at the Sephiroth. Okay, what
Who
else?
met his son.
Who else sent me? Look, I don't know who sent me this. Sorry, like I'm just talking about it to get it out of the way.
Sons and daughters from the vine of the womb. With
What's he talking
on
about?
the
Black Star.
subject of Astaroth. That does pivot into our
Astaroth is the demon in the Omicron video game. Remember? It's basically the Lord of Karma, Mickey Mouse, depicted usually through as Saturn. So.
next point of order. That Bowie's final studio album was entitled Black Star. Now, Black Star can refer to the primordial sun or Saturn.
The primordial sun. I mean, Saturn has. Saturn wasn't always considered the black star. It was considered the red star or the red sun before then. So whenever I hear the word black star, I'm usually thinking of the black star, which is the esoteric sun, which is our current sun that we see gets its energy from, and then our sun is a reflection of the black star, which is probably Sirius or whatever, dude.
As I have discussed above. But we must also be aware that Saturn is a jealous god, of who met his sons and daughters.
Saturn is a jealous god, and we have to. I would have to review the story, like how Saturn cut off the balls of Uranus, whatever, and then Zeus basically overthrew Saturn and threw him into Tartarus with the rings of Saturn, and then eventually Jupiter will be overthrown. And this is the natural cycle of the cosmic evolution of the solar system as it's encapsulated in mythology.
From the vine of the womb, to stop them from ascending to his throne and thence deposing him.
Yeah, but there's a problem. I mean, Saturn is actually good because Saturn represented during the age of Kronos as the Golden Age before the ring of formation of Tartarus by Jupiter. I mean, that's why we should consider Jupiter as a negative. Like the whole system of the Sun, Mars, and Jupiter. I mean, that I do not venerate. What I venerate is actually the Moon, Venus, and then Saturn.
This naturally has striking correlations with our current governments and their paranoia of us and their subsequent extirpation of us as well. Moreover,
Yeah, their obsession, and then look, TLDR. I mean, the whole system's run by they live, dead alien spirits, whatever. So
if we look at the 72 lesser keys of Solomon, or the ancient demonology of the Israelite king,
Solomon.
then we firstly see a reflection of the Tetractys.
The Tetractys, the Tetragrammaton upon a Pythagorean, whatever. I mean, I'm not sure about this person. I mean, a lot of people think that Solomon is the end all be all. How come no one ever talks about Hiram Abiff? Okay, the metal worker that actually constructed the temple. I mean, if you actually read or are into the Masons, they venerate Hiram Abiff, not Solomon, because Solomon got all his magical skills automatically, but Hiram Abiff have to work for it. And then there's this whole delineation process from the bloodline of Cain versus the bloodline of Abel. And then if you're a true Mason, you would actually consider yourself as coming from the bloodline of Cain, because Cain, through hard work and sweat, he tilled the ground and made, plants to farm, which is the whole point of the veneration of Saturn. But if you look at Abel, I mean, the guy went out into the wild and killed and sacrificed an animal to a god that would worship, killing like that, which is more of a Jupiterian or Jehovian thing. This is why there's this obvious delineation between the bloodlines of Cain and Abel. And then there's this whole process of perfection of stated being from that of Cain and Hiram Abiff and Adon Hiram. I mean, but this is like Masonry. I mean, I don't really talk about Masonry. I mean, this has been going out there.
Or the 72 aspects of God.
72 aspects.
As deduced by...
Yeah, and then you can deduce it against the zodiac. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Pythagorean Tetragrammaton.
Hmm.
In which, among other things...
I mean, for the record, the Vedic stuff is far superior. Like, a lot of people get obsessed with the whole Kabbalistic stuff. The Vedic stuff. Vedic is the most accurate.
The 10, 5, 6, and 3 are all mathematically brought together.
Oh, Pythagorean mystery,
But
Black
also
Star.
has links to Kabbalah, with the Shem HaMephorash,
Shem
or the
HaMephorash.
explicit name of God. Or
The explicit name of God is not Yahweh, whatever. It's the lost word of Freemasonry, okay? It's which is why Masonry was revolutionary, whatever, dude. Albert Pike ripped off the Rig Veda, incorporated it into Masonry. Because of the Syrian stuff is dog shit, alright? Like, there's this whole delineation of where actual true occultism comes from.
whoever Kabbalists seem to worship.
Huh.
It's said of Shem HaMephorash,
Shem HaMephorash.
quote,
Whatever, dude.
it's composed of
Okay, whatever, dude. The true God thing is okay?
either 4 of letters. This links to the triad of, say, 220.
220.
And it seems Bowie seemed to think of himself as a Davidian symbol, along with the name David Bowie of
David Bowie thought he was like an alien, alright? He was like chasing UFOs to try to escape his physical mortal coil, alright? And he dressed like a Yahtzee.
course. The Adam Kadmon or Nietzsche
Nature,
vessels, or emanations of the Sephiroth,
emanation of the
on
Sephiroth.
3 in full reduction cipher,
God damn, dude, this is just all
another
Kabbalism.
10, and it was stated of it that, quote, David Bowie draws the Kabbalah Tree of Life in 1975. Bowie
Mhm.
sang, quote, here are we, one
Sephiroth.
magical movement from Keter to Malkuth, unquote.
Keter to Malkuth. Okay, Malkuth is at the bottom, that's Earth. Keter is above. This is like the whole subconsciousness of the mind. That is the translation form from your incarnation of the lowest material plane of Malkuth up above. And then there's a whole process. I mean, if you read, what was it, Rudolf Steiner or Theosophy, and then there's a natural process where you climb up the Sephiroth tree and then try to escape through the Duat.
In mercy, that humanity has mistook the light of their own fire as a simulacrum or descend into it,
What is this?
lily amongst the thorns.
Yeah.
Furthermore, the idea of, quote, here are we, one magical movement from Keter to Malkuth, unquote, of the supreme creative force of the universe.
What's it talking about? Lucifer?
But it is a simulacrum.
Lucifer and Prometheus and the light of, I mean, well, to be honest, in Masonry, Albert Pike is the one who introduced the idea of Lucifer and the light of Lucifer into it. I mean, it's not really common with Masonry in the past, especially, I guess I would call the Atlantean Masonry, Brotherhood of the Snake stuff. But I mean, this is just, whatever, dude. I mean, whatever. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that.
Simulacrum of the light. The physical attempting to cheaply impersonate the perfection of the metaphysical.
This is the story of Prometheus taking the fire, and then that's why Zeus punished him, and then his liver is what got pecked out, because liver is the purification of the body, and then that was through the repentance to the purification of the fire. And that fire that was gifted to man is the physical exoteric fire that was necessary for man to exist in this fallen state of the world, which is why Prometheus was punished, but why he is also venerated, because you need fire to exist in the fallen state, but it's not the true fire. So eventually man is supposed to overcome this state of needing fire, period, and going back to the illumination of light of fire as it goes back to the monad of the fire, which is the light of, I mean, whatever, dude, the supreme architect of the universe. I mean,
That humanity has mistook the light of their own fire, that of technology, and their contraptions as somehow the divine and infinite light of the supreme being.
yeah, but that's as they incarnate into a shit world that is very cruel, like the fallen state of man in its incarnated form, from whether you call it Atlantis or the Golden Age. I mean, humans need it just to survive. But then, I mean, you're in a catch-22 with this whole situation of falling from grace, because you need, I mean, he explains it further, where basically look, TLDR, perfected beings realize they got tricked and trapped into the fallen incarnated state, and then they basically try to murder each other to escape their physical mortal coil, and then they realized that that was a bad thing, and then they got trapped even further down into the incarnation of man and that of the man animal state. It's like how, you know, you basically can't you shouldn't, you know, Minecraft yourself even if you reach the state of enlightenment, because I mean, then you basically fallen into the cycle of violence, and that of the restricted form of this life, death, rebirth state. Even if you are aware that you are a great spiritual, perfected being, whatever. I mean, it's like a catch-22, alright? I mean, but even if you reach enlightenment and you realize what's going on, then what's the point of murdering or Minecrafting yourself, okay?
Or creative force.
You basically just get super bored, okay? That's enlightenment. Or going back to the perfected state before you were born.
That is the source of all, and called binary servitude, cannot enjoy due to the current Luciferic stranglehold over. It is like the black sun.
Well, I wouldn't say it's Luciferic, I would say it's Ahrimanic.
But it's
Ahrimanic's more machine,
Prometheus,
mechanical.
the material spirit.
See, this is why this person doesn't make sense. He confuses a Venetian being like Lucifer with Ahriman, and Ahriman is clearly a Martian being. So, I mean, this depiction of Ahriman is correct. It is the mechanical state of being in its arching ways, like systems within systems, describes Ahriman. If you want to look at it from a Luciferian perspective, it's like that of trying to accentuate through the arts, but in a way which does not venerate the monad. So,
to which they worship.
but Ahriman is basically a perfect descriptor of our world. Like our computer-based, machine-based, system-based world is purely Ahrimanic.
It is the invert.
It is basically like when you take logic to its natural conclusion without any heart. So,
And is
but in reality, I mean, you actually need a balance between Venus and. Is it Venus and Mars? Yeah, that's like the whole right side, left side balancing, whatever. I mean, this is actually mentioned in what's that movie? The Imaginary Dr. Parnassus.
an impersonation of never truly be perfect by the law of the good that the cosmos has bestowed within the psyche of its children into its composing parts.
Yes.
And this is why
The psyche of archetypical form, yes.
we inhabit a dialectical world that feels jarring and alien to our senses. The war.
Yeah, this world feels dialectically wrong. Like there's something wrong with this world. You look at people, there's something wrong with them. You look at the government, there's something wrong with the government. You look at how just things work out or why people do these strange things for whatever reasons. There's just, you have this feeling that something's wrong with the world. You can't put your finger on it. And that is basically the fallen state of man and its immoral state based on a wanting of control because of the necessities of the flesh, which is the whole point of people trying to escape samsara, period, so that they don't have to deal with this.
Wars, political corruption, carnal lusts, and grotesque human abuses
Yeah,
all feel unnatural to us.
yep, so it's definitely natural.
Instinctively. These residual feelings that we have of our older form of consciousness is what they seek to drive out of us right now.
Yeah, they want to drive out the state you were before your fall into human incarnation. For the reason, I mean, it's basically the devil harvesting souls. I mean,
They wish to only possess that themselves.
yeah, they only want to possess it themselves so they become god kings. I mean, these people are kind of weird. I mean, they don't like technology at all. They don't even have any computers. Then they try to cultivate their psychic ability, whatever, and they like reading and writing by hand. And then they do things where they limit technology and iPads, whatever, even to their children. They just laugh at the masses who get tricked by the basically fire of, Lucifer, Prometheus, whatever.
Thus, the ruling class of the future will be transhuman,
Yep.
or the pre-fall version of human consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah, I mean, I would agree, so.
And we shall be entirely spiritually lacking, and
No.
be somewhat
Oh, not me. I'm like spiritually maxed out, baby.
subhuman compared to them.
I'm not
Reverse ordinal.
subhuman. I'm not a
and
monkey.
reverse full ordinal, respectively.
I didn't take no magical elixir. I'm not no monkey.
This links to the, again,
If you don't, yeah, I mean, that's a big part of the magical elixir. Has monkey DNA in it to try to make everyone a monkey so that they can be closer to their god, whatever, Elohim, angel beings, whatever.
the theme of reversibility of David.
Reversibility.
And these are interconnected with those who take refuge in him, unquote.
Blah, blah, blah.
Continues on, that the whole of creation and all
The
of
monad.
language proceed from one combination of letters. This links to a similar thing Democritus,
Talking about the
father of
tetragrammaton.
atheism, stated in his time too. 5. This continues through the whole of the alphabet, which is 33,
Oh my god, more
which
Kabbalism.
is 1 plus 23 plus 9.
More
doubled up.
Kabbalism.
Now, there are 4 sections to this first verse, or this could be the main chorus.
Look, I'm just gonna skip to that. And he's just talking about. He's just gonna talk about Kabbalism for like the 1,000th time.
The Luciferic concept entered the vacuum and brought forth the 10 Sephiroth vessels. It made form out of formless.
Form out of the
Naturally,
formless.
we have that.
Word out of chaos. There's Kybal.
eye symbol skyscrapers look somewhat like the UN building. As a final point on the Black Star album,
The black
it
cubes
was
of
released to
theosophy.
coincide with David Bowie's play then.
Okay, whatever do. I'm just gonna skip to the end.
Colossal strength to grasp a fate, uni thought, unquote, and quote, no death for the perfect man, unquote.
No death for the
Also,
perfect
quote,
man. Well,
Wondrous beings chained to life, unquote.
wondrous beings chained to life. Okay, this is Rosicrucianism. The rose being pinned against the cross, the thorns being that of the basically limited mind of the human being. The wondrous being of the liberation of the rose from the rosy cross is that of you going back to your perfected state, like the perfected state of man before the fall incarnation.
Also, as well, quote,
I
when
mean,
all
having said that, I mean, you came into this incarnation for a reason, right? It's to have an experience. That experience basically is the purging out process of the negative aspects of spiritual, mental, and physical decay that you would experience based on this earth of quote-unquote sin. But, the cure to all sin is, knowledge. Knowledge is the cure to all ignorance. And ignorance is the leading of all fear. So,
the world was very young, unquote. He goes on to discuss the devolution of this state.
devolution of the state, yes, we were in a very fallen state. The further you go back, like further back to like even the origination of human beings, they were much more enlightened. They were more psychically aware or clairvoyant, or they had their pineal glands open. Their technology was actually better. All right, you see all the ancient megalithic technology. I mean, they had electricity too back in the day. Okay, they had flying UFO Vimana crap. Okay, they had super mega port structures and connecting to spaceports. Okay, and they could travel the stars. I mean, the whole Tower of Babel was the post-fall, the golden age. When they tried to reconnect the Birkeland currents to the other planets, and then they failed, and then the whole mathematics got screwed up, which is the one language of the world, and then that basically caused a crack in the sky, and then whatever great flood, blah blah blah. I mean, that's like a whole nother story. I mean, humanity keeps falling into a more lesser conscious, lesser aware. They basically keep descending into the materiality of Malkuth, which is basically hell, but sort of. But whatever, dude. I mean,
And how these
I hate to break it to you. I mean, the material world is basically as close to hell as you can get. All right.
perfect beings longed for death, so much that they killed each other to escape this serene paradise.
Yeah. See. These people got trucked into Disney realm. They tried to leave early by killing each other, which basically broke the contract that they agreed to come and manifest in incarnated form in Disney realm in the first place, which is ironic, so they get more stuck here. All right, there's like a whole process with the soul contract. All right, I can review Robert Monroe later.
And this is an allusion to the beginning of our spiritual devolution, away from the source of divinity.
Yep, and this has been the cause of all human suffering since the fall of Atlantis. Like the fall of Atlantis is like a genetic memory back from as far as your incarnation can remember, through however many past lives or avatars that you can have an inkling for. Okay.
Per Kabbalistic doctrine, Bowie writes, quote, "How are weird by mystics taught, no pain, no joy, no power too great, colossal strength to grasp a fate, where sad-eyed mermen tossed in slumbers, nightmare dreams no mortal mind could hold."
Nightmare dreams, yeah, I mean, dude, you seen the world outside recently? You seen people with masks and snitches everywhere? And even before that, I mean, this place is a goddamn nightmare, okay? It's being run by, like, they live demonic aliens, whatever, or demons. I mean, I want to say that they're demons at this point. And look, this place is basically a quarantine zone, alright? Everyone who is here basically deserves to be here. Like, you see all these people who are super Karens with the whole Voldemort disease, and anyone who quote-unquote went along with this thing willingly, they will not pass judgment. They will not pass the spiritual test at death, alright? And then this place keeps getting worse and worse because less real, spirited, elevated, perfected beings, they just refuse to come in here, alright? Like I said this 1,000 times, I am not coming back to this God forsaken, realm called Earth.
A man could tear his brother's flesh a chance to die, to turn to mold. Unquote. As
Yeah, that's why you should not be violent in general, unless it's self-defense.
you see, this is charting the beginning of sin or immorality. Of
Sin, immorality, imperfection, the moral decay state of man, separation, greed, selfishness, hatred, ignorance. I mean, the fall of man, especially in the modern era, it's almost complete. All right, it's basically complete. Okay, I mean, what more can I say? I mean, you know, the Voldemort disease really opened my eyes to the state of humanity, and then how they don't know what to do, or they just squirm, or they rely on spiritual baby blankets. Okay, I mean, to me, it's really obvious what's going on, and then this process of the spiritual decay of man for however how many thousands of years? I mean, you want to get down to it. I mean, how long has human really been here? Modern human, like 23,000 years. I mean, like, look, TLDR. I mean, I don't care. All right. I mean, I just don't care. All right. I mean, I talk about this stuff because people ask me to. Whatever, dude. I mean, we're dragging out too long, and I gotta upload this. Alright, so, I mean, I've been sidetracked. So heads up, I would like to do Defending Your Life for Sunday. This Sunday, hopefully, as long as nothing else happens. Then I gotta try to catch up with other people. And hopefully see what I can do with the astral charts. Because I swear to God, I mean, I should just yell at every single one of you. Because I still have to do astral charts for the new year. But we'll see what happens, and I might have to respond to someone else who gave me a donation recently that may have wanted an astral chart. Okay, I'll see you guys on the weekend. Bye.